Good morning, everybody. I welcome you all back. Today, we are doing a very important topic, pollution. Environmental pollution plays an important role not for the BSc classes in OCT, but in IAS and IFS and other competitive staff selection exams. There are 5 to 6 questions. And as I already told you, 1 mark can take you 100 people above, but 5 to 6 marks and you are approximately 500 to 600 ranks above. So this is a very important topic, and in pollution we have particularly 3 topics, that is depletion of ozone layer, global greenhouse effect and acid rain. So today I am taking one of them, that is depletion of ozone layer. So now what is pollution? Pollution comes from the Latin word that is pollutinum. So pollution may be defined as the presence of extraneous material in particular environment in concentration that are harmful to the living organisms. Here I said particular environment. So subsequently I will do the air pollution, and instead of particular environment I put air here. Soil we can put soil, water we cannot put. So definition remains same. So no issue with that. The material which cause pollution of the environment are known as pollutants. So first we do the type of pollutants. One question will come from here. First are primary pollutants. Such pollutants never change their form. They remain in the form in which they are produced. Like carbon dioxide. Here we have carbon dioxide from vehicles, carbon monoxide from coal, smoke from the vehicles, automobiles, and then the secondary pollutant. When the primary pollutant modify or react with themselves, resulting in formation of secondary pollutants, this is more harmful than primary pollutant. The example is PAN. Ozone also comes in this range. Because ozone, as we did after this lecture, so if this is the earth and we have the layers, SEMTE word you have to hear. This is earth, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermospheres and exosphere. This is also called ionosphere. So you have to remember SEMTE and change it into I. TB also works, this is thermosphere. So ozone, as we know, this is 50 km above, remains in the troposphere. It is a boon to our human mankind, because it allows, when UV rays come from the sun, when it passes to ozone, it changes into the infrared rays. It protects the humankind from the UV rays. So today I will do that. Ozone hole will results in the cancer, cataract and a lot of problems. But this ozone, when comes from stratosphere to troposphere, it becomes pollutant. Here it is boon, but here is harmful. It's a bane. So secondary pollutant, we can come to the PAN, peroxyl acyl nitrate, and ozone also. Besides that, we have smog, sulfur trioxide, nitrogen dioxide. Then we are coming to the quantitative pollutants, the substances which are already present in the environment but are termed as pollutants when their concentration, that is quantity, in the environment increases. Like carbon dioxide, I already told you, present in greater quantity, hence called quantitative pollutant, and its increase result in global warming, that is greenhouse effect, which we are doing the subsequent day. So then we have the qualitative pollutants, the substances which are normally not present in the environment and are added to by the human beings, and their concentration increases beyond limit, that is insecticide, pesticides, they add into our food chains and then occur biomagnification, right, or bioaccumulation. Then we have the fifth type, persistent pollutants, the pollutants which do not easily degrade by natural process and remain unchanged for long time. They remain unchanged long time in environment are called non-biodegradable. glass, plastic, aluminum cans. So they are also called persistent. They remain there. The next type is the non-persistent. Here the pollutants which are decomposed by natural process into similar substance, they are biologically degraded. Hence are called biodegradable pollutants. Municipal sewage, agriculture waste, paper, lot of examples we have. Now we are coming to the air pollution, and air pollution I already told you, the definition is same, the presence of external materials in the air environment, right, in the concentration that is harmful to the living organism. The major type of pollutants are, first is carbon monoxide. This is a very important. It is produced from the incomplete fuel combustion. Single largest pollutant. It is odorless, tasteless, colorless. And the main source of carbon monoxide is smoke, fumes of burning coal and gas oil. As it is odorless, tasteless, colorless, it is also called silent killer, right? So we have a lot of news about this. So how it works is this. See, if organic matter under anaerobic digestion, when oxygen is not developed into methane, and this methane on oxidation form carbon monoxide, and this carbon monoxide has a strong affinity for the hemoglobin in our blood, and it forms carboxyhemoglobin, right? And it results in asphyxiation, that is the killing of lot of, recently we have news that workers who did work in the party, they died in the morning because they have closed the rooms, and from that the coal which decompose, it changes under the anaerobic conditions to the carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide reduces oxygen carrying capacity of blood, affecting respiratory activity and causing severe headache, blurred vision and toxicity. Immediate death, silent killer, silent death you will get. So next is the carbon dioxide, the chiefly produced in the combustion of fossil fuels like petroleum, coal in our automobiles, coal in case of factories, homes, factories, power stations, automobiles. Due to depletion of forest cover, the consumption of carbon dioxide by plants has decreased, because plants, they act as a sink to the carbon dioxide, that decreased, and hence the concentration of carbon dioxide increased in the atmosphere. It has become major pollutant, and carbon dioxide increasing concentration, trapped heat and earth being warmed. This is called greenhouse effect, which I am taking tomorrow. So next is the particulate matter, very important. One question will come from here. These are the atmospheric substances which are not gases and are in the form of suspended droplets. These particles can be, one question comes from here, settleable more than 10 μm and suspended in the air, that is less than 10 μm in size. The various particulate found in the air are, first is mist. The term refers to the low concentration dispersion of liquid particles, large size, that is more than 10 μm, formed by the condensation process. It is also be released from industries. Second is the fog. It is a visible aerosols in which the dispersed phase is liquid. Particles are denser. They reduces visibility to less than half kilometer. So then we have the smoke. It contains fine particles of size of 0.01 to 1 μm. Smoke consists of finely divided particles produced by the incomplete combustion, predominantly consists of carbon particles. And this smoke, when fused with fog, it will form a smoke, which is the topic I am taking in few minutes. So then we have the dust. Dust is a suspended particulate matter. Particles are more than 1 μm and are solid. Dust is produced by crushing of organic and inorganic materials. So dust, they have the particles more than 1 μm, and most of the dust particles settle on the ground as dust fall and act as a center of catalysis for large number of chemical reactions. So what we did is the fog, smoke, and they will form a smog, which I am taking. And then we have taken the dust. So dust and smoke particles function as nuclei for the condensation of water molecules, and this is called smog. And this smog causes irritation of respiratory tract, produces asthma, bronchitis, and lung diseases. So now the next question comes is the aerosols. Aerosols are airborne suspensions, either solid or liquid, but smaller than 1 μm. This is very important. It is smaller than 1 μm. These are the aerosols, right? So aerosols are colloidal systems, and these in which dispersion medium is gas. This question will come, and dispersed phase is solid or liquid, right? So aerosols are smaller than 1 μm, right? So I revise again: particulate matter settlable more than 10 μm and suspended less than 10 μm. And in then the aerosols comes the 1 μm, right? So then more than 1 μm is the dust. So these are the questions we will get. And then we are coming to the aerosols are colloidal system in which the dispersion medium is a gas and dispersed phase is solid or liquid. Dense layer of aerosols in the troposphere blocks large portion of solar radiations and reaching the earth, and aerosol of biological origin, they spread the pathogenic disease. Not it will reduce the photosynthesis, but it will also act as a pathogen carrier and cause a disease. Then we have the fumes, the solid particles of size of about 0.1 μm, this question also comes, constitute fumes in the atmosphere. They are released from the metallurgical or chemical process. Fly ash, it is the fuel combustion from coal, oil, wood, and play important role in emission of particulate matter. Coal-based power plant, stone crushing, and other mining, they are the important operations which generate the flying ash or fly ash. So now, as I told you, smoke and fog. So I again revise that the aerosols, they are basically the airborne suspension smaller than 1 μm, and if these suspended particles more than 1 μm, it is called dust, and if it is more than 10 μm, it is called settlable, and it is less than 10 μm, it is called suspended. So smoke and fog, they will form a smog, and this question we have, it is the photochemical smog. The word smog means combination of smoke and fog. The term smog is coined by H.A. Dayaux 1905. So this given by Dayaux is the term to the smog, which is a combination of smoke plus fog. The UK smog, this question will come, was mixture of reducing. The UK smog, you can option click reducing pollutants, called reducing smog, whereas Los Angeles smog, a mixture of oxidizing pollutant, is called oxidizing smog or photochemical smog. The photochemical smog occurred only during night and cloudy days. In the morning hours, the NO and hydrocarbon levels increased, followed by increase in NO2. So what will happen? I want to show you through reactions. Like first, people begin to driving car in the morning, and nitrogen is burned to or oxidized. The nitrogen with oxygen formed NO. And step 2, after a few hours, NO combines with the oxygen to form NO2. I can come here again. In morning, now you came to know how NO will form and which will change into NO2. So this is the NO, which is because of the burning of fuel in the cars, and then it undergo oxidation to form NO2, which act as a key reactant. If exposed to intense sunlight, it leads to various chemical reaction and ultimately leads to production of ozone. See, as I have told you, in morning N2 combines with O2, 2NO, and this 2NO on oxidation form 2NO2, and this 2NO2 when under passing through strong light, that UV radiation, it change into NO and again nascent oxygen, and this nascent oxygen react with oxygen to form ozone. Ozone so formed is oxidizes NO to NO2, and this ozone which is formed, it again oxidizes this NO to NO2. So this reaction is going on in the atmosphere, and this nascent oxygen react with the hydrocarbons. It will form RCO, right? And this RCO react with oxygen to form RCO3, and this RCO3 combines with the hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons, what are? When we drive automobiles, the important hydrocarbons for the production of photochemical smog, it comes from the automobiles, that is called olefins. This question will also come, right? And then RCO3 combined with hydrocarbons to form this CH2O double bond O, or ketones, matlab aldehyde and ketones. So RCO3 then combines with oxygen to form RCO2 and NO2, and this RCO3 NO2, it combined with RCO3 NO2. This structure is called PAN. So I will again abstract. When we drive vehicle in the morning, so N2 combined with the oxygen to form 2NO, and this on oxidation form 2NO2, and this 2NO2, that is nitrogen dioxide, on UV radiations change into NO plus nascent oxygen, and this nascent oxygen combines with oxygen to form ozone, and this ozone again combines with NO and changes into the NO2, and this ozone also combined with the hydrocarbons which are released from the atmosphere to RCO, then RCO with oxygen to RCO3. In this RCO3 combines with hydrocarbons to form aldehyde and ketone groups, and RCO3 then combines with oxygen to form RCO2, and then RCO3 again combines with NO2 to form this structure which is called secondary pollutant. I already explained you this one. This is called PAN, peroxyacyl nitrate. So PAN, the presence of excessive ozone along with all aldehydes and ketones, they constitute a PAN. This question comes a lot of time. I myself attempted that. It given option, which option is good showing the PAN. It shows PAN, it showed aldehyde, ketones, some shows olefins, some shown methane, but one option shows ozone, and many people thinks that ozone is in stratosphere, it will never a pollutant, and people never click that option. But here if we come to the substitutes of these PAN are NO2, we have hydrocarbons, then we have aldehyde, ketones, then we have this ozone, and ultimately the PAN. So this is a very important topic, I already told you. So characteristic symptoms of smog are eye irritation, because this we basically see when we are standing on the traffic lights. Irritation in the eyes, reducing visibility, respiratory, we have bronchitis problem, khansi, and lot of things, nausea. Damage to the plants is all on the leaves and stomata. And olefins, I already explained you, the hydrocarbon which are released from the automobiles. So it is very important to note here that the control of photochemical smog may require a substantial reduction in NO. So if we don't want photochemical smog, so NO should be reduced. It is very easy. As I told you, the first reaction is when we are driving in the morning. So avoid that, and it is also necessary to control the release of hydrocarbons that we are using, that is Euro 1, Euro 2, now we are coming to the Euro 4. So this is, we did the PAN, a very important point I made. So you please, first objective is the dust which is more than 1 μm and aerosol less than 1 μm, and then Los Angeles is the oxidizing smog, UK is the reducing smog, and these smogs, they are produced to these reactions. So now we are coming to the next topic, that is the depletion of ozone layer. So I revise again. This is the how the asphyration occurs. So please revise at home, and I will be now next moving to the depletion of ozone. So today now I am starting the depletion of ozone layer. So I already told you ozone is largely found in atmosphere, which is particularly concentrated at the 50 km above the Earth's surface in stratosphere, and here the ozone is approximately, that is 10 milligram per kg of the air. It is also found in the troposphere in very low concentration, that is 0.01 mg per kg of air, but I already told you in troposphere it acts as a pollutant because it combines with all hydrocarbons and aldehydes, and it forms a structure called PAN. So Then we are coming back to the depletion of ozone. Here I want to tell you the region of upper atmosphere is also called ozonosphere. This I will take in the structure of atmosphere tomorrow, right? Atmospheric ozone plays an important role in biosphere. It absorbs all the solar ultraviolet rays, right, which are at the wavelength of less than 290 nm. So the atmosphere is heated because of this absorption, and biosphere of Earth is shielded from the lethal radiations of UV light. So now we are coming to the our topic. See, here we have the sun rays, and from sun UV will come, and if the sun goes from the ozone layer, and this converted into the infrared rays, which are not harmful to the human beings. But there is a ozone hole, but ozone hole is a word is a misnomer, but nowadays we said ozone thinning. Okay, this is ozone thinning, and from here the UV rays pass, and when these UV rays pass, they can go, and if some human being is taking a sun bath on the sea, so we have seen that human being have a dot, and that is skin cancer, because the wavelength of UV radiation is more, so energy is less, so they can't penetrate below the skin. So but it is only one plant, that is Anthracium, where the UV radiation can cause cancer in their gonads. This is one question will come also. So what will happening in stratosphere, and 3 molecules of oxygen under electric discharge form 2 ozone. This is the process going on lot from the millions of years. So but we spoiled that in last 50 years. So what we did is, because of the release of pollutants, we changed that ozone back, that is reverse of this we are doing, and it changed into the oxygen, and this result in this thinning of ozone, and UV radiations are coming. So now what we are doing, so I will tell you. See, we have fridges, ACs and refrigerators, and from the fridges, ACs and refrigerators, the gas coming, that is called CFC, this is chlorofluorocarbons, CCl2F2, and this CCl2F2 under UV radiation breaks into CClF2 plus chlorine, and this one chlorine can break the million molecules of the ozone, and see how many million molecules of chlorine are released through bridges, and also through the rockets which we are sending it for the space research. And this chlorine can change the ozone to the oxygen. So one molecule of ozone can convert the million of ozone molecules to the oxygen, and this contribute to that is the ozone changing to the oxygen. And the second, which is recently contributor, is methyl bromide. So these are the rice fields or wheat fields, or we have any field, so we protect it from the pesticide pests by spraying pesticide methyl bromide. And this methyl bromide, and it comes into the atmosphere, and its bromide components of methyl bromide, they did the same which the chlorofluorocarbon is doing. So it results in the thinning of ozone, which we misnomerly called depletion of ozone layer, right? So then we are coming to the next, then we have the jets, which we are for the space research, every developed country is sending. So in jets we have NO2. NO2 is coming out of jet, and this NO2 combines with ozone and change into NO3 under high lightning. So then it change into the ozone. This is what it contributed ozone to the oxygen, also to this one, right? So then we have from the jets we are coming chlorine, and I already told you this chlorine react with ozone to form ClO plus oxygen, and this ClO combines with again with nascent oxygen to form chlorine and oxygen. Ultimately the abstract of this sum up is that ozone is converted into oxygen, not because that's, but this chlorine is released again and it do the same job again. So that is why chlorine is recycled and it convert the million of molecules. So in crore a million of years what we made, it is spoiled in the 50 years. So this all result in the thinning of the ozone, and the developed countries has blamed the Asian countries, particularly India and China and the other countries, to that India is particularly spoiling this whole environment. So they are releasing the chlorofluorocarbons, and they are releasing all the pollutants which are resulting in the thinning of the ozone. But what happens one day, a person is having a sun bath on the beach of the America, and he is spotted with this dot. So that is skin cancer, and India starts a whole on our country, but we are getting cancer in the other country. So not particularly not in America, but it is in the Antarctica areas on towards that side. Antarctica is the worst sufferer, despite the fact it does not has inhabitants, right? So this I finishes the ozone depletion. I already told you this ozone depletion. A single atom of chlorine is sufficient to convert 1 lakh molecules of ozone. See, because it is recycled. Chlorine is also released into atmosphere due to the volcanic eruptions. In ozonosphere, chlorine attacks ozone and in thus depleting 6.5% in this process of ozone to the oxygen. So then I already told you that skin cancer, then I already told you, but the other which the depletion of ozone did is it induces skin cancer, and it results in the skin cancer. It is the retardation in the tissue growth, right? And then suppression of immune system, increased susceptibility to herpes. Herpes is a very important and very dangerous disease. It is so biological clock in it, this disease, that it can, if it come on May 22 of this year, then it will come again on May 22 of next year. It's a very dangerous disease. So then high incidence of cataract is also noticed because of these. The animals may also be blinded, fisheries are damaged, and the producers, that is autotrophic plants in sea as well as pond, are damaged. So it leading to the less yield, and food supply will be reduced, right? And leading to famine-like situation. Thus, there can be great ecological disturbance. So ozone depletion is plays an important role in the ecological stabilization. So this I take the first topic today. Tomorrow I will take the global warming and the acid rain one part. So please be with me. Before that, I will go with the structure of atmosphere, which I told you just now. Please revise, that is SAMTE. Troposphere, this is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and this is thermosphere, but it is called ionosphere. It is the from ionosphere from where the radio waves will come. We will see FM and everything. This question is also come. The radio waves, they are reflected from the ionosphere, and this is the exosphere where the satellites will grow. So this I finishes. So I will say take care and stay indoor, stay safe. Bye bye.